Magandang araw, Pilipinas. Ako po si Oning Miranda, ang inyong kapatid sa Imbabawid. Ngayon ay 12 ng Pebrero 2021. Oras na para sa nababanong balita at impormasyon tungkol sa Agham at Teknolohiya sa bansa. Ito ang DOST Report. Kasama po natin ang nag-iisang kalihim ng Department of Science and Technology, Secretary Fortunato Boy de la Peña. Magandang araw po, Sec Boy.
Magandang araw sa lahat, Onin, sa iyo at sa ating mga taga-subaybay.
Alamin po natin, Secretary, ang updates tungkol sa Science and Technology Program sa bansa sa sektor ng kalusugan, kabuhayan, kaayusan at kinabukasan.
Oo, Onin, pwede ko na sigurong umpisahan ang ating updates. Naririto ang aking report. Uunahin ko ang report na may kinalaman sa kalusugan at kabuhayan, pagkatapos ay isusunod natin ang kaayusan at kinabukasan. So, uumpisahan ko na ang report sa kalusugan with a report coming from the DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute. They have actually inked a partnership with the Department of Agriculture for their technology adapters to be linked to the farmers for raw materials sourcing. So through this partnership with the Department of Agriculture, adapters of DOST, Food and Nutrition Research Institute technologies can be linked to farmers, okay, for the sources of the raw materials or farm products. Actually, this was contained in a Department of Agriculture memorandum addressed to all their regional offices to extend such assistance to the adapters of FNRI technologies. Similarly, the Cooperative Development Authority also expressed interest to have that kind of linkage with the DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute adapters. Okay, still from the Food and Nutrition Research Institute, they have inked a partnership with Unilever, and this is a collaboration to combat malnutrition. DOST, FNRI, and Unilever are partnering in developing a holistic model to reduce malnutrition, particularly during the first 1,000 days of children, okay, and up to children under 5 years old. This project includes the development of nutrition education materials on breastfeeding and complementary feeding practices. Also on teaching parents to cook and feed their children, as well as scaling up of the model if it has been found effective. Okay, so these are part of our participation in the call of Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles in the program of action called Pilipinas Kontra Gutom. Pupunta naman tayo sa kabuhayan at ito ay report galing sa ating mga regions. Ang DOST Cordillera Administrative Region ay tumutulong sa tatlong Ifugao communities, particularly on cacao and soybean processing. Our DOST CAR recently signed an agreement with the 3 community-based projects on cacao and soybean processing in the province of Ifugao. The beneficiaries are as follows. First, the St. John Organic Farm Families Organization and the local government unit of Barangay Nayon in Lamut, Ifugao for the establishment of a cacao processing facility project. Yun ang assistance ng DOST. The second one is the Nalbu Women's Organization and the local government unit of Barangay Nalbu in Mayoyaw, Ifugao. At ito naman ay para sa soybean processing. Ganun din ang nature ng tulong ng DOST. This is for the processing facility. At ang pangatlo ay ang GIRE organization at ang local government unit of Barangay Poblacion in Banawe, Ifugao. Ito naman din ay para sa soybean processing facility. Ang susunod ay ang support ng ating DOST Region 8. Okay? This should be Region 10, supporting the emerging cacao industry in Bukidnon. So the cacao farmers in Malaybalay City, Bukidnon, have increased their annual net association income through the DOST Bukidnon's Community Empowerment through Science and Technology or CEST program. This is in cooperation with the local government unit and the Balay City Cacao Growers Association. DOST Bukidnon turned over a complete set of cacao processing equipment to Balay City, and the association called Balay City Cacao Growers Association. The facility includes roasting machine, grinder, stainless steel tables, sealers, digital weighing scales, and others with a total project cost of 354,500. So this will provide hands-on training. Okay, so DOST 10 will also provide hands-on training on tableya and chocolate making, as well as the relevant good manufacturing processes and food safety practices. The counterpart support was provided by the local government unit, okay, and also from the farmers organization, although relatively small amount, but this is still very meaningful to us, totaling 158,800 pesos. So this association is also pre-listed to join other trainings on product development sponsored by our DOST Region 10 for free. Okay, so this is a hope to encourage more farmers, okay, to cooperate with us, okay, and soon participate in global fair trade. Next, we have the report from DOST Region 12. This is in the South Cotabato area, and they have introduced the livelihood programs and technology trainings to women's group in Cotabato Province. So last February 5, 2021, representatives from the Malang United Bangsamoro Women Association in Cotabato Province were oriented and provided technical assistance about the different DOST Region 12 livelihood programs as part of our services to communities through science and technology. Now, I would also like to report that our DOST Philippine Textile Research Institute has gone into partnerships with two new groups, okay? And in the recently concluded 2021 teleconference, there were exciting developments, of course, that were reported on the adoption of natural fabrics. And these were shared by the DOST PTRI, okay? With very good partnerships that has been generated with number one, the /Ignite group, which is a social innovation company, which is based in Iloilo City. And it was established to foster the innovation ecosystem, to prepare the people for the future of work and help innovators build impactful and profitable enterprises. So with the shared goal of supporting a strong textile ecosystem in Iloilo, /Ignite, okay, has partnered with the DOST PTRI in its Panublix program. It's a textile sourcing platform for the fashion and design market with a focus on transparency and sustainability. And of course, on the support is our regional yarn production and innovation center, which DOST, together with the Iloilo Science and Technology University, or ISAT University, has established and is now operated by ISAT University in Miagao, Iloilo. Panublix, this is the social enterprise, now offers the Philippine-made Rye-Pick Iloilo yarns, or the yarns that come out of our innovation center there in Miagao. And these are actually those that contain abaca and pineapple, making such innovative yarns available online for interested clients to purchase. Okay, it's very interesting to note that that the one who established that group, okay, in Iloilo, Noreen Bautista, is a graduate of our Philippine Science High School.
Yes.
And now we have also, of course, an ongoing DOST PTRI partnership with Creative Definitions, also another social enterprise working with weavers. And we have reported already last January 29 a business incubation agreement between the Creative Definitions and DOST PTRI, so that they can access the natural fiber processing in PTRI, as well as the fiber pretreatment facility. In addition, I would also like to report another partnership that the Philippine Textile Research Institute has established with a new social enterprise in the Cordillera. This is actually Kandama Collective, which was put up by a very young industry person engaged in the fashion business by the name of Victor Bagila. So I'm very happy to report that we have more and more enterprise groups that have been partnering with the Philippine Textile Research Institute.
May unang bahagi pa lang yan, mga kaibigan, ng mga balitang Agham at Teknolohiya. Marami pa kayong dapat malaman, kaya wag po kayo alis. Magbabalik pa ang DOST Report. Patuloy po ang inyong pagsubaybay sa DOST Report. Ikalawang bahagi na ng pag-uulat ng ating kalihim. Narito pong muli, Secretary Boy.
Salamat, Onin. I-report ko naman ngayon ang mga may kinalaman sa kaayusan at kinabukasan. Mag-uumpisa ako sa report coming from the DOST Philippine Council for Industry, Energy and Emerging Technologies, R&D or PSERD. Ito ay isang update dahil nagbigay na ako earlier ng report tungkol dun sa mga projects under our program called Good Governance Through Data Science and Decision Support System Program or the GODES program. Ito ay bahagi ng aming programa sa Training on Artificial Intelligence, Data Science and Data Analytics. And now, new data science research and development projects that enable good governance have been approved by PSERD for implementation so that they can improve the operations of national government agencies. Okay, first in the list, of course, is a project from the Father Saturnino Orios University in the Caraga region. Another one is from the Philippine Rice Research Institute or PhilRice. A third one is in Isabela State University. A fourth one is in the Iloilo Science and Technology University or ISATU. The fifth one is from Urdaneta City University. The sixth one is from Lyceum Northwestern University. And the next one is from the Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University. And lastly, the Pangasinan State University. So the projects, for example, are the use of data analytics and information systems. For example, in region Caraga, it is for the benefit of services of senior citizens. Okay, and then we have the PhilRice data analytics. Okay, which is really intended to harness the power of data analytics to enhance baselining and forecasting of the status of rice farmers and the rice industry. Another project, which is at Isabela State University, is the optimization of a decision support system for effective governance on preemptive evacuation for flood disaster amidst the pandemic in Cagayan Valley. Next will be a project by ISAT University, which is towards the development of the Iloilo Province Employment Portal and services using data analytics. And that will be a dynamic web-based application that has 6 components, okay, including the job seekers registry, the employers registry, the employment registry, the training registry, the academe registry, and the students registry module. Over at the Urdaneta City University, the researchers will be doing the project called Development of an Automated Collection System for Trading Hubs or the Bagsakan Market. They will create a cashless and contactless payment system with the use of mixed technologies such as radio frequency identification and the QR code payment system. At the Lyceum of Northwestern University, on the other hand, they aim to develop a smart garbage collection and monitoring system for the Gupan city. So where data analytics will be applied to yield information essential for evidence-based decision-making by the LGU. At the Don Mariano Marcos State University in La Union, they are working on a vision-based traffic data and will also analyze existing policy for traffic control. At the Pangasinan State University, they will develop the 100 Islands National Park Management System. Okay. The next one I would like to report is from the Philippine Institute of Volcanology, that they have continued online training for the use of the REDAS software for hazards and risk assessment and geological event alert. This is still under the kaayusan. So our DOSTv work continues its advocacy program for local government units and other sectors to be able to utilize updated hazard and risk assessment and event alerting system through the REDAS software in its development of exposure database, hazards and risk assessment, disaster risk reduction planning and operations. And this software actually has been developed to simulate hazards and collate hazard maps to collect exposure data and to determine the impacts of hazards, such as those that are related to earthquake, tsunami, flood, and severe wind. And it is also a tool to alert the users of earthquake and tsunami events. So the trainings have been online, such as the ones that have been conducted recently in Lanao del Norte, Iligan City, and Cebu City. I would also like to report an update coming from the DOSTv shared, and this is the launching of the so-called Philippine Groundwater Outlook website, or the PHIGO website. This is actually in connection with a project of DOSTv shared with Ateneo de Manila University, wherein they have developed a decision support system in monitoring the groundwater supply and the quantity to mitigate the adverse impacts of flood and drought in selected sites in the Philippines. So this was spearheaded by Eileen Guzman of Ateneo, and in collaboration with Dr. Andrew Barkwith of the British Geological Survey. So they developed a web-based tool that contains information about well sites, the daily reading of groundwater quality and quantity, a concise and clear description of the parameters collected by the groundwater monitoring system. Let's move now to kinabukasan, and I would like to report that actually this is coming from the National Academy of Science and Technology, the NAST 2050 Philippine Science, Technology and Innovation Scenario Planning under the DOST National Academy of Science and Technology recently held a two-day workshop entitled NAST 2050 Philippine Science, Technology and Innovation Scenario Planning. This was done on February 9 to 10, 2021 as part of the DOST-funded NAST project on the development of the strategic plan up to 2050. So this was designed to gather data, perspectives, imaginings, and narratives of Filipino scientists and partners about the emerging issues, the drivers of change, and the alternative and preferred futures and strategy to reflect, to rethink, and reimagine the futures of Philippine science, technology, and innovation. I would also like to report on the updates from the DOST and PBOX, as well as from Pag-asa. They have gained the new and several on track to get PhDs from their agencies, okay? And these are people who are involved in disaster risk reduction. So I would like to report that DOSTv gained 2 new PhDs in the last 2 years in the person of Dr. Perla de los Reyes, who obtained her PhD in applied geology from the University of South Wales in Sydney, Australia. Her dissertation was an interdisciplinary study on the hazards associated with the AD 1754 style eruption of Taal volcano in the Philippines, which helped the Institute have a better understanding of the possible scenarios of Taal eruption in light of its activity in January 2020. We also have Dr. Raymond Patrick Maximo, who obtained his doctorate in physical volcanology from the Université Libre de Bruxelles, Belgium. His dissertation was on the geochemical and isotopic characterization of hydrothermal systems of active volcanoes in the Philippines, which is critical in understanding and monitoring of Philippine volcanoes. I would also like to report that there are 4 staff from our DOST Pag-asa who are pursuing their doctoral degrees and are expected to finish within the period 2021 to 2022. PBOLS has also one that has an ongoing PhD studies. Another item to report under kinabukasan is that the Department of Science and Technology and the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, or MESRI of France, conducted their first Philippine-France joint bilateral meeting last February 5, 2021. This is actually a part of the first Philippines-France bilateral agreement on science and technology and research and development. This is the first Philippines-France joint committee meeting. The meeting discussed updates on existing initiatives and identified priorities and specifics for future collaboration guided by design program of cooperation. The DOST side was led by Undersecretary Rowena Guevara, and his co-chair from the France side is Dr. Denis Despreo. They led the committee to agree on the way forward for the Hubert Korean Partnerships Science for the People Researchers Mobility Program and the DOST Phil-France Scholarship Program. The implementation of the 2 activities will now proceed after it was postponed last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Both sides also presented their interest and other proposed cooperation on health and medical research, agricultural technology, electronics, the emerging technologies, and innovation to expand the partnership. So the concerned agencies will continue to coordinate to explore and realize the potential collaborations. We would like to report another achievement, and this is from the Philippine Science High School Bicol Region Campus, where one of its former students was able to acquire a patent for her invention, pushed by the desire to help the community. That former student who has graduated already, Isabel Angel Palma, has recently been awarded a patent for her invention. And this is the invention while she was studying at Philippine Science High School. This is called the air disk technology. This is a cooling technology that does not use chemical refrigerants, which contribute to global warming. Her invention uses air molecules and atmospheric moisture, and it has minimal energy requirement. It only uses a total of 150 watts per hour of electricity compared to the 1,500 watts per hour on an ordinary air conditioner. In a magazine released by the Intellectual Property Office Philippines, it mentioned that this household air conditioner has potential global market of more than 100 million units annually. The invention was originally scheduled for commercialization in 2020, but production was put on hold because of the pandemic. This invention is again a testament not only of what Philippine Science High School students have learned, but also what our students desire, which is to alleviate the lives, of the Filipino people. Next in my list is a report from the National Research Council of the Philippines, which held its 7th KTAP COVID webinar. KTAP means kapakanan ng tao sa oras ng pandemya. And they featured this time the results of the research documenting the stories of Filipino pregnant teenagers and the teenage mothers during the pandemic. The research was led by Dr. Gloria Luz Nelson, a professor of sociology from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, who is a regular member of the Social Sciences Division of the National Research Council of the Philippines. The webinar, which was conducted last February 9, presented the social, economic, and behavioral characteristics of 18 teenagers who are pregnant teens, teenage mothers, and teens who at the same time are pregnant and mothers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Of the 18 teens, 5 were pregnant, 11 were mothers or have given birth, and 2 were classified as both pregnant and already a mother. Their characteristics, according to their circumstances, show that they are generally happy with their new roles as mothers, but mostly rely on their families and partners for financial and emotional support. It is also worth noting that none have considered having an abortion or committing suicide or suffered from domestic violence. In addition, the teens are aware of the health risks brought by the pandemic. Hence, they practice healthy safety protocols such as frequent hand washing, wearing of face mask and shield, and observing social distancing. But regardless of their circumstances, pregnant or already a mother during the pandemic, and whether they are solo parents in consensual union or married, the teens face multiple burdens such as low to no income, low education, less employment opportunities, and health risks for both the teenage mother and the children. But for the youth, their pregnancies were unplanned but not unwanted. This is the consequence of non-use of family planning methods and not practicing sexual abstinence. In fact, for them, their children are blessings and source of their inspiration. Majority of those who drop out have expressed desire to continue their studies to provide a better future for their newborn. In spite of these burdens, the teens remain optimistic and are hopeful for the future. The study shed light on the needs of this vulnerable population. It is therefore imperative to mobilize all social institutions from the family, government, and civil groups because teenage pregnancy, like pandemic, is a social problem and a social emergency. The surest way, as recommended by the researcher, is to have programs and policies to make the youth stay in school so that through education they improve their human capital, have access to reproductive health care, make informed decisions, and break away from intergenerational poverty. This study can aid in the enactment of the Teenage Pregnancy Act and culturally appropriate implementing rules and regulations that would mitigate teenage pregnancy. Other recommendations have been made, but these are contained in the documents of the study made by Dr. Nelson. And finally, my last item in my DOST report is that DOST bidded goodbye to our dear Undersecretary for Regional Operations, Brenda Nazareth Manzano. The DOST mourns the passing of Undersecretary Brenda Nazareth Manzano on February 4, 2021. The consummate public servant, she died with her boots on, ever the champion of regional development through science and technology. The DOST organized a necrological service for Yusek Manzano on February 6, where eulogies expounding on her dedication, commitment, and excellence as a public servant were delivered by cabinet officials, including Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles, DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez, TESDA Director General Peña, as well as PhilExport President Sergio Ortiz Luis Jr. Touching messages were also sent by DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones, DSW Secretary Rolando Bautista, and DICT Secretary Gregorio Honasan. A mass was held before the necrological service where Ateneo de Zamboanga University's Father Karel San Juan gave a moving homily on how her life and works can be an inspiration for everyone to serve the public with excellence and integrity. That sums up my report for this week. Onin, I hope I have given better understanding of our activities during the past week.
Maraming salamat po, Sec Boy. At sa amin pong pagbabalik, ating pag-uusapan ang projects po ng DOST under Science for Change program na nakapagbigay ng pag-asa at magandang pagbabago sa ating mga kababayan mula Batanes hanggang Tawi-Tawi. Sa pagbabalik po yan ng DOST Report.
Ang agham at teknolohiya ay daan tungo sa pag-unlad ng bayan.
Susi sa pag-unlad ng ekonomiya, patungo sa magandang kinabukasan ng bawat isa.
Paglikha, paghahanap, at aplikasyon ng kaalaman para sa kaunlaran ng pangkalahatang pamumuhay.
Ay sinag ng pag-asa.
Ay importante sa pag-unlad ng ekonomiya ng isang bansa.
Ang game changer para sa new normal.
Ay susi sa kaunlaran.
Ay mapagpabago, napapanahon at tumutugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan at patuloy nitong pag-unlad.
Ay sandigan ng buhay at ang maghahatid ng magandang kinabukasan.
Ay tulay at lakas tungo sa kaunlaran ng ating ekonomiya.
Susi sa kaunlaran. Ang siyang mangunguna sa pag-unlad ng Rehiyon 1.
Ay susi sa pag-unlad ng Mindanao.
Ay sandigan sa pag-unlad ng ating bansa.
Ay para mabago at umusbong ang buhay ng mga seaweed farmers.
Para sa mga pamilya na nakatira sa mga pamayanan na jida at walang kuryente.
Ay para rin sa pag-create ng mga livelihood para sa mga small farmers natin and IT communities.
Para sa ating mga kapatid na lumad dito sa Davao Region.
Ang agham at teknolohiya ay para sa bayan.
Ang agham at teknolohiya ay para sa pagbabago at pag-unlad ng bawat Pilipino.
Kayo po'y nakatutok sa DOST Report. Narito na tayo sa ikalawang bahagi ng ating palatuntunan. Noong pong 2020, umangat sa 23% ang science and technology awareness sa Pilipinas. Isa sa maaaring dahilan nito ay ang napakaraming mga proyekto ng Department of Science and Technology, hindi lamang po sa mga lungsod, pati na rin sa iba't ibang rural areas sa buong bansa.
Tama ka, Onin, at isa sa mga programa ng DOST ay ang Science for Change program na may layuning maitaas ang antas ng agham at teknolohiya sa buong bansa.
At layunin din po ng Science for Change program na maipamahagi ang pondo sa lahat ng reyon at bigyan ng kakulang pagkakataon ang ating mga researchers sa lahat po ng sulok ng bansa at bigyan ng suporta ang mga pribadong kumpanya at palakasin ang kanilang kakayahan na lumaban sa pandaigdig na merkado sa pamamagitan po ng R&D.
Mayroon itong 4 na sub-programs. Ito ay ang mga sumusunod, ang Niche Centers in the Regions for R&D o ang tinatawag naming NICER, ang R&D Leadership Program na tinatawag naming RD-LEAD, ang Business Innovation through Science and Technology for Industry na tinatawag naming BIST, at ang Collaborative Research and Development to Leverage the Philippine Economy Program or CRADLE.
At upang tulungan tayo na maunawaan ng bawat sa programs na ito, Secretary, makasama po natin ang mga proponents ng iba't ibang successful projects under Science for Change program. Isa-isahin po natin ang mga sub-programs na ito. Una po yung Niche Centers in the Regions or NICER or R&D program. Ito yung nagbibigay ng pondo sa mga pampubliko at pribadong universidad para makagawa ng quality research na makatutulong sa pag-unlad ng isang reyon. Isa sa successful projects under NICER program ay ang Seaweed R&D Center sa Tawi-Tawi. Makasama po ngayon si Dr. Siti Zaida Halun mula sa Mindanao State University. Ma'am, magandang araw po. Ano pong main purpose sa pagkakatayo ng Seaweed R&D Center sa Tawi-Tawi? Ano po yung mga problema ng ating mga seaweed farmers ang binigyan solusyon po ng Seaweed R&D Center?
So bago kami nag-propose ng Seaweed Research and Development Center sa Tawi-Tawi, kinausap muna namin ang farmers. We went around Tawi-Tawi talking to farmers, asking them what was the problem facing them. So ano yung mga sinasabi nila? Masyado daw mababa yung presyo ng seaweeds nila dahil nagko-complain daw yung mga processors na hindi maganda yung seaweed quality daw. So kami, we have to look at everyone's problems. Hindi lang yung seaweeds, yung traders nagko-complain din. May complaints din ng processors. So we talked to the seaweed farmers, the traders, and then the processors. Kinausap namin sila. At nalaman namin, ang side ng farmers, mababa daw ang presyo. Tapos, they learned how to use, may nag-introduce sa kanila gumamit ng fertilizers para daw mabilis ang pagtubo ng kanilang seaweeds. Pumunta kami sa traders, ang complaint ng traders, yung nga, pangit ang quality. Punta kami sa processors, sabi ng processors, pangit ang quality ng seaweeds. Kaya ayaw na nilang bumili. In fact, they're importing from Indonesia. So sabi namin, okay, ano ba, itong mga problemang ito, paano natin, anong pwede natin gawin? Meron kaming seaweed cultivars lab. Ito yung mga cuttings ng seaweeds na nasa lab namin. Inipon to namin through over the years na kinolekta sa farms, sa wild. So meron kami nito. So ngayon, gusto namin i-propagate to, pero kailangan ng pera, di ba? Sabi namin, mag-propose tayo ngayon na kung pwede, mabigyan tayo ng funding at meron pa tayong additional na mga equipment, additional na mga gamit sa lab na para makapropagate kami na mas maraming seaweed stocks na pwede namin i-distribute, ibigay sa mga seaweed farmers. Dapat kasi maganda yung punla, kumbaga, di ba? Bago ka makaproduce na magandang plant, dapat yung punla mo maganda. Yun ang problema. Kasi yung punla nilang ginagamit ay ginamit nila for the last 50 years. So paulit-ulit na ginagamit para propagate kasi vegetative propagation ang ginagawa sa seaweed planting. So bumaba yung genetic diversity at susceptible sila ngayon sa ice disease. Hanggang ngayon wala pang ring gamot, walang treatment for ice disease. Tapos nandun pa yung epiphytes at tumutubo sa mga seaweeds nila. So sabi namin kung makabigay tayo ng mas magandang punla, mas maganda yung mapoproduce nilang seaweed products. So yun, isa na yung pwede namin address. Second, yung sinasabing yung moisture, masyado daw basa yung mga seaweeds nila at madumi. Bakit nga naman hindi madumi? Kung saan-saan lang nila dinadry. Nakabitin kung saan-saan o nilalagay sa lupa. So sabi namin, bakit kaya hindi natin gamitan kasi in-introduce na to, meron na sa mga Malaysia, Indonesia, meron na silang seaweed dryer. So sa UPLB, meron din develop sa Biomex, si Dr. Pangan, meron siyang seaweed drying facility. So we decided to adopt that. Pag-usap kami, so sabi namin, pwede bang i-adopt yun para i-introduce sa farmers. So isa ito sa mga pinopose namin na mag-introduce ng seaweed drying facility para doon nila ng farmers i-dry ng farmers ang kanilang na-harvest na seaweeds para naman mas mababa yung dumi at mas maganda ang moisture content, mababa. Kasi yung kailangan kasi at least 35% ang moisture content. So ngayon, isa rin gusto namin gawin is malaman namin kung ang tinatawag ba nilang iba't ibang pangalan ay magkaiba ba talaga genetically. So yan yung isang gagawin namin is i-identify morphologically magkakaiba ba ay magkaiba rin genetically. So isa ito sa mga gagawin. Para naman, pag nag-distribute kami, alam namin itong si strain A ay iba sa strain B. Or itong si C ay iba sa A. Parang ganon.
Maraming pong salamat, Dr. Zaida. Dumako naman po tayo sa Collaborative Research and Development to Leverage Philippine Economy o CRADLE program. Isang importanteng katangian ng DOST CRADLE ay ang partnership na nabubuo sa pagitan ng miyembro ng academe at miyembro ng industry. Sa ganitong paraan, sakto na-identify ang pangangailangan ng mga kumpanya at mas madali ito na-adapt. Isang halimbawa yung Payment Innovation for Solar Home System of E-Solar Project. Bunga ito ng collaboration ng University of Southeastern Philippines at LeadTech. Ngayon po, Makasama natin si Dr. Philman Simpao, ang project leader from USEP, at Engineer Raymond Zamora, ang presidente po ng LeadTech.
Dr. Philman, maaari mo bang ilarawan kung paano nagkaroon ng partnership ang University of Southeastern Philippines at ang LeadTech?
Okay, ang nagsimula ang partnership ng USEP at saka LeadTech nung nagkaroon kami ng actually kami ni Engineer Raymond ay magkakilala na way back sa college pa kami. So doon kami nagkakilala sa isa sa mga IP community sa Davao City. Tapos doon naging advocacy na rin namin ang tumulong sa mga IP communities. Hindi namin alam sa isa't isa na kami pala ay parehas ng kurso, no, na electronics engineering. So nagkita kami 15 years after at ako ay nasa USEP na nagtuturo at involved din ako sa AREC. AREC ay isang implementing arm ng Department of Energy na nagbibigay o tumutulong sa pag-implement ng household electrification program sa Southern Mindanao. Doon ko nakita yung mga iba't ibang problema sa off-grid area, especially sa IP communities. Si Engineer Raymond naman ay isa siyang faculty sa Ateneo de Davao University at nagkaroon siya ng kumpanya, no, or company na siyang naging presidente at yung company na yan ay isang RE solution provider. Isa sa mga product lines nila ay solar home kit. So, nung nagkita kami 15 years after, na-discuss ko sa kanya yung mga problem na nakita namin sa AREC at saka yung problema niya rin during his deployment sa mga solar home kits dito sa Southern Mindanao. So, we came up with the idea na baka pwedeng mag-collaborate kami.
Nabanggit po ninyo na indigenous communities o mga katutubo ang makakagamit ng solar home systems para sa proyekto ito. Maaari nyo ba, sir, ilarawan ang mga magiging beneficiaries at gaano kalaki ang impact nito sa kanila?
Ito yung mga IP communities natin. Ito yung mga communities na salat sa mga social services ng ating mga government agencies. Isa sa mga problema doon ay talaga yung ilaw. Alam naman natin kung ano ang implication pag may ilaw isang community.
Maaari ba ninyong ilarawan ang P-Solar Project? Anong research and development ang nais nating ma-achieve sa pamamagitan ng proyektong ito?
Si Engineer Raymond mayroon na siyang existing na solar home kit. Ang naging R&D namin ay since mature na yung solar home kit niya, ay ang nagiging R&D namin is yung payment innovation. If I may explain to you, no? Yung isang solar home kit kasi, it ranges around mga 15 to 20,000. So, since mahal ang isang solar home kit, ay doon yung R&D namin na magkaroon ng parang, if you're familiar with pay-as-you-go concept, yung parang prepaid na solar home system na kung saan yung recipient ay magbabayad lang ng tinatawag na upfront cost na 500 pesos at saka monthly mag-incremental payment siya based on his actual energy consumption. Ang ibig sabihin, kung ang konsumo mo sa isang buwan ay umabot ng 200 pesos, okay, yun lang din ang babayaran mo sa ating payment innovation system o yung P-Solar natin. So, yung solar home kit ni Raymond, nilagyan namin ng module natin para sa mga IP communities or any users in the off-grid areas ay pwede silang maka-avail na maliit lang yung upfront cost at saka dahan-dahan nilang mababayaran yun at saka until such time na makanila yung sila na may-ari ng solar home system. Yun ang R&D namin.
Paano po makakatulong ang technology galing sa LeadTech sa dispersed household sa Davao?
Cradle project sa P-Solar, nagka-interest ako dahil Pinagsabay namin yung project ko sa CISS, yung Community Infrastructure Sustainability System, which is to energize the whole community, yung isang sitio. Pero ang kulang na lang is yung dispersed household doon sa isang community. Ibig sabihin, pag may isang bahay na napalayo doon sa clustered group, yun ang solusyon, yung P-Solar.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Philman at Engineer Rayman. Ngayon naman po, dumako po tayo sa isa pang sub-program ng S4CP, ang Business Innovation through S&T for Industry o ang DOST. Dito pinupondohan ng technology acquisition ng Filipino communities o companies. Isa itong pamamaraan para matulungan ng DOST ang mga pribadong kumpanya na makasabay sa antas ng pandaigdigang merkado. Isa pong halimbawa nito ay ang Urbanex Laboratories na nakabase sa Negros Occidental.
Ang Herbanex ay matagal nang kilala bilang isang manufacturer ng herbal products. Anong health technology ang nais ninyong mag-gain sa pamamagitan ng BIS program?
When I learned about the BIS program, ang unang naisip ko is yung ongoing project ko sa DOST na Tuklas Lunas program, which is essentially yung drug discovery program. I am working with several researchers from the academe and nakita ko yung isang challenge in doing our research. Kasi we are working on crude extracts ng mga herbs. So basically, the whole plant ito na in-extract, no? And na-notice ko na when we make dosage forms, mali capsule man yan or tablet, when we use the extracts, the whole extracts of the plant, maraming mga halaman na medyo may problema ang extract nila. Kasi yung iba, oily, yung iba, sticky, yung iba, bulky. So, nakita ko na when we make that into a dosage form, as I said, a capsule or a tablet ba, hindi maganda yung resulta ng produkto. Hindi rin maganda yung stability. So, yung purpose sana na mag-produce kami ng standardized extract sa Tuklas Lunas, itong standardized extract na ito, these are the more potent forms of herbal drugs. Sana ang inumin mo lang, isang capsule, dalawang capsule, isang araw, okay na yon. Ang lumabas, when using these crude extracts, kailangan haluan namin ng maraming excipient. Excipient yung tawag na para hindi siya maging malagkit, hindi siya maging oily, at maging stable siya. So in doing this, na-dilute uli yung produkto. So instead na sana 1 or 2 capsules lang kailangan mo inumin isang araw, kailangan mo uminom ng 6, 5 or 6. So basically that was what inspired me na it will be really useful to adopt a technology na to make the extracts of these herbal products free from unwanted compounds.
Ano po ang magiging mahalagang impact ng pagdiskubre ng herbal compounds sa mga halaman? Paano po nito pagagandahin ang healthcare system ng ating bansa?
Ang magiging important impact ng project na to, cost-wise siguro pareho lang, no? Pero ang magiging important impact niya, the product will be closer to the quality of medicine or a pharmaceutical product, which in this case, mas acceptable na siya sa medical community. And alam naman natin, yun yung really challenge sa herbal industry to create a product na mas acceptable sa medical community. So with this research that we are doing, the product, as I said, is more concentrated, more stable. So mas magiging accepted ito ng mga doktor, at if it becomes accepted by doctors, then we can expect na mas significant ang impact niya sa healthcare system natin.
Anong klaseng mga sakit ang maaaring bigyan ng lunas ng mga halamang gamot na makukuha sa proyektong ito?
The products that we are prioritizing are those related to lifestyle diseases, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, because these are really of greatest need right now. And dito very effective ang mga herbal medicines kasi multi-compound ang mga herbs. They just do not act on one problem but multiple problems because they contain many different kinds of compounds.
Paano mabibigyang lunas ng proyektong ito ang issue ng pag-diversify o maging mas innovative ang mga produktong galing sa probinsya ng Negros?
Alam niyo naman na Negros Island is known for sugarcane. 85% of our crop is sugarcane. So ngayon hindi na ganoon ka profitable ang sugarcane farming. You have to be a large farm, a large hacienda to be profitable. So ang ginagawa namin dito sa DOST na project na ito is to develop technologies that will make herbal medicines more popular. And therefore, if we can do that, pwede namin ma-convince ang mga small farmers here in Negros Island to plant medicinal herbs as a diversification compared to sugarcane. So, ang pinaka-goal namin is magkaroon ng maraming small farmers joining into the cultivation of medicinal herbs, and we will be buying their raw materials. So, kami right now, andoon na kami sa stage na ready na yung planta, and then we have this facility to improve the quality of extracts to the DOST project. Ang next na goal na lang namin ngayon is to really find these farmers and work closely with them for them to produce the raw materials for us. At the moment, meron na kaming isang farmer group na mga Aita, or locally known as Ati, and they are producing one of our important raw materials, which is yung tawa-tawa. And starting next month, we have a new project for another IT community, mga tawag ay Bukidnon. Sila naman ay magpuproduce sa amin ng another kind of herbal raw material. So ito yung pinaka-dream namin na lahat ng raw material coming from Negros Island instead na buying it from, say, Luzon or Mindanao.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Cruz. Dumako naman tayo sa huling sub-program ng S4CP. Ito ang R&D Leadership o RD Lead Program. Ito yung pagkuha ng mga eksperto na mamumuno sa pagpapalakas ng research capabilities ng mga HEIs at RDIs sa mga rehiyon.
Isa sa RD leader natin ay si Dr. Roberto Clemente na nakatalaga sa Batanes State College. Dr. Clemente, kumusta po ang ating mga gawain bilang isang RD leader?
Being engaged by NRCP DOST as RD leader for this Batanes State College project is indeed very fulfilling, since it provided me the opportunity to share my more than 3 decades of work experience here and abroad and contribute towards the academic and research development goals of the college. The biggest challenge I had to overcome as RD leader for this project is to deliver the expected outputs on schedule because of the deterrent factors posed by the COVID-19. In fact, I was not able to go to Batanes State College last September to conduct the training course due to travel restrictions. However, through the able support of the RD lead staff, especially Marpi, Ms. Risa, Ms. Mara, and Ms. Pau, and the BSc faculty coordinated by Ms. Day, the training course pushed through via online delivery of the courses with about 30 to 40 participants from Batanes State College and other institutions.
Kausapin naman po natin ang presidente ng Batanes State College. Magandang araw po, Sir Alfonso Simon. Sir, ano po ba ang inaasahan natin mula sa RD Lead Program?
We at the Batanes State College are excited working with our RD leader in the RD Lead Program of the NRCP and the DOST. We're looking forward that to this collaboration, we will be able to significantly strengthen and fortify our researchers' capabilities through the conduct of trainings and seminars, crafting of proposals, mentoring of family members, to name just a few. Aside from this capacity building, we are also seeing a ray of hope to upgrade our research facilities through the help of this RD Lead program. The engagement of an RD leader, therefore, will definitely help us to achieve our visions for the college as far as our research initiatives and targets are concerned.
Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng ating panauhin sa pagbabahagi ninyo sa amin ng inyong successful and life-changing R&D projects under Science for Change program. At noong po nakaraang Miyerkules po, binuksan ng DOST ang website ng Science for Change program. Ito ang magsisilbing online platform kung saan maaari ma-access po ang iba't ibang mga information, kaya po ng guidelines, forms, brochure at mga ongoing at successful projects under Science for Change program gamit ang isang interactive map. Maaari na rin mag-submit ng inyong mga projects proposals dito sa kanilang website. You may check it out on www.s4cp.dost.gov.ph. Muli po, maraming salamat po sa ating mga naging panauhin sa amin pong pagbabalik. Sasagutin ni Secretary Boy ang tanong ng bayan. Huwag po kayong bibitiw. Magbabalik pa ang DOST report. Oras na para sagutin ni Secretary Boy ang tanong ng bayan. Para sa unang katanungan, mula po kay Meli Tenorio, ang program host ng Siyensya na Teknopa Radyo Aguila. Paano po makamit at mapasama ang maliliit na komunidad sa programa po ng Science for Change?
Well, unang-una doon sa ating NICER program na kung saan dinedevelop natin ang kapabilidad ng isang research center within either the universities or government agency, ay kasama doon siyempre ang kanilang mandato na ma-address ang mga pangangailangan ng kanilang rehiyon at matap ang mga opportunities na available din sa kanilang rehiyon. Kaya kasama dito sa kanilang trabaho na ito ang pag-iisip kung paano ang kanilang mga teknolohiyang ginagawa ay makatutulong sa pangkaraniwang tao.
Alright. Paano po ang proseso ng pagpili ng mga bibigyan ng pinansyal na tulong sa S4CP? Yan pong tanong ni Dolly Liwanag, ang Assistant Editor ng Diario Pilipinas Global Online.
Yung sa pagtatayo ng NICER Center, siyempre nagkakaroon muna ng proposal that comes from the institution which wants to set it up. So it is either a university or a research center found in a government agency. And pagka sila ay nagkaroon na ng proposal, ito ay pinadadaan sa pagsusuri ng Regional Development Council doon sa kanilang rehiyon upang ma-determine kung ito ba ay talagang worthwhile na i-recommend sa DOST for support. So yun ang aming prosesong sinusunod. Pagdating sa DOST, nagdadaan ito dun sa usual process of evaluation and approval of projects.
Alright. At naman po itanong ni Jennifer Cruz ng Net25, marami po bang mga institutions ang sumali sa S4CP?
Marami na. Yung pagtatayo ng NICER programs ay umabot na kami sa 26 at natitiyak ko na bago matapos ang administrasyon ito ay aabot ito sa 50. So yung nauna namin ay mostly ay sa agriculture and life sciences. Pero this time for 2021 and 2022 ay magpo-focus kami sa industry, energy, and emerging technologies as well as in health and disaster risk reduction. Bago ko malimutan, yung aming mga proyekto ay nakatutulong din sa ating mga kababayan dahil ito ay tumutulong sa mga industry at enterprises na nakikipag-partner for research. Siyempre, yung pagganda ng takbo ng mga enterprises natin ay nakatutulong sa ekonomiya ng kanilang rehiyon at nakatutulong din sa pag-e-employo ng mga tao.
Okay. Ito may tanong ni Charissa Lucy, ang reporter po ng Manila Bulletin. Any new vaccine developers po that will conduct their clinical trials and timeline for WHO clinical trials and status of the SOPs?
Ngayon po, tatlo pa rin ang approved for clinical trials. Yun pa rin Janssen, Glover at Sinovac. At yung pong detalye ng kanilang pag-i-implement ay sila ang may karapatang mag-announce kasi po ito ay sila rin ang nagpopondo at sila rin ang nangangalap ng mga volunteers basta sinusunod nila yung approved protocol. Doon naman sa WHO, hanggang ngayon ay naghihintay pa rin tayo ng announcement from WHO.
Alright. Maraming salamat po, Sekboy. Baka meron pa kinais sabihin para sa ating po mga kababayan.
Masasabi ko lang na itong ating Science for Change program ay isang napakahalagang programa at ito ay binuo namin sa DOST, umpisa pa lamang ng aking pamumuno bilang sekretary sapagkat nakikita kong ito ay isang napakahalagang pamamaraan o daan upang tayo ay makapagkamit ng inclusive development. Paano na lang kung puro na lang dito sa mga metropolitan areas nakatutok ang ating atensyon. Kailangan natin bigyang pansin ang ating iba't ibang rehiyon sa buong bansa. Kaya iyan ay isang napakagandang programa para matupad namin ang aming pangarap na magkaroon ng balanced development at magkaroon ng inclusive development.
Maraming salamat po, Sekboy, at maraming salamat po sa mga naging panauhin natin ngayong araw. Mga kaibigan, abangan niyo po ang Siyensya tuwing Lunes at Expert Talk Online tuwing Miyerkules, alas 5 ng hapon kasama si Jel Miranda sa DOSTv Facebook page at YouTube channel. Mas marami pang balita mula sa mundo ng siyensya at teknolohiya ang ating pag-uusapan, kaya tutok lamang kayo tuwing Biyernes, alas 4 ng hapon dito sa DOSTv Facebook page. Ako po si Oning Miranda. Ito ang mga balitang may kinalaman sa siyensya at teknolohiya para sa bawat Pilipino straight from the S&T Authority ng bansa. Ito ang DOST Report.